Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Disc Golf Show, Toss In with Justin. Temu is back at it again with some recently approved discs by the PDGA. We've got a lineup that manufacturers and disc golfers alike have been eagerly anticipating, so stick around to get the full scoop on the latest possible additions to your disc golf arsenal. You're listening to the Disc Golf Show. So since the last time we talked, there's been 40 different discs approved by the PDGA. They are coming out like crazy. I held off for a little while just to see if I could get a good stack. I might have held off too long because there's 40 of them. So let's jump in and get through these, all right? So first up, like I mentioned in the intro, the Temu Brand X-UFO has been back at it again with some more approvals here. I actually have a couple of these because I just picked them up last time just to see if they would get approved, and they did, it looks like. And it looks like maybe they didn't get approved with the last group because there were some kind of difficulties, because I've noticed, and you're going to kind of see this theme throughout some of these approvals, that some of these discs didn't get approved the first time around. And how can we tell? Well, because they've been labeling the pictures retest, which is exactly what happened here in this case on a couple of these. So they've had the XUFO, Star Glide, Star Hawk, Star Death, the Star Bucks, because why not, right? And the Star Bird recently approved. So the Star Glide was approved on the 5th of April, 2024. It's a distance driver that's a little bit more understable and a speed rating of 10, which should make it a little less high speed, but we'll see once we get a hold of one of these. I couldn't even find it on Temu, so we'll see, right? Also on the 5th of April, a distance driver called the Star Hawk was approved. I have one of those, so I'll get to test it out here for sure, and it's definitely a distance driver. It's pretty domey, at least the one that I have. Its flight ratings are 12, 5, -1, and 3, so it's pretty high speed and understable, right? Also on the 5th of April, the Star Death, another distance driver, which is a speed 13 distance driver, so it should be pretty high speed, and it was rated 0 for stability, so I would think that might make this one a meat hook. We'll see. I'm definitely liking the two-tone plastics that they're kind of putting together. I don't know if it's just a color difference or if they're actually two different kind of shifts in the plastic molds, kind of like Clash is doing with their tone variants. I'm not sure, because there's not really a lot of description on a lot of these, or at least all the descriptions on Temu for these discs vary greatly. It's Temu. What do you expect, right? The stamps might not be fancy, but at least the molds kind of are, I guess, in a way, and at least they're putting the numbers on the things so we can get those right away and kind of at least tell what they're supposed to be like, right? So the Star Bucks, which is probably their best named disc, hands down. I mean, come on, right? Of the approved ones so far. It was also approved on the 5th of April, and it's a fairway driver, and the flight ratings are 9, 5, 0, and 1. We'll see. Haven't been tested out yet by me, but we'll get there, right? Hopefully. And then on the 18th of April, we had the Star Bird approved by XUFO on Temu. It's another 10-speed distance driver, this time with only a rating of -1 for the stability. The picks on this one are the ones that named it a retest, because we saw some of those on Temu with the PDGA approved on it already, but it wasn't. So I think this is kind of what happened. So at least the first pass didn't get through. So at least it's approved now. The flight ratings on this one are 10, 5, -1, and 2, and that makes the 10th disc approved so far, and they've all been approved pretty much this year. So the Temu Brand X-UFO is hitting the ground running this year with their approvals for official PDGA discs. Up next, XCOM Discs had the Volans, which is a driver, has a pretty cool yellowy type of marble if you're looking at the picture here on YouTube. And that was approved on the 8th of April, 2024, as well as the XCOM Discs Cetus, I think I'm saying that right, was approved on the same date. And it is a driver as well. It's probably a fairway from the looks of it. Again, don't really have any flight numbers on these, so just my best guess here. I love the constellation kind of themes that they've been going with in the stamps so far. The XCOM manufacturer, from their website, says that XCOM is a manufacturer of beginner-friendly discs. New players will find a nice variety of driver, mid-range, and putter discs at affordable prices that are designed for easy flight without massive arm speeds. We'll see if they keep to that throughout the life of all of these XCOM discs here. They had 2 more approved on the 15th of April, both of them. The XCOM Scutum and the XCOM Ori. The XCOM Scutum is a putt and approach disc from the looks of it, and it looks like the Ori is a beaded putter and approach, which is the 6th disc approved throughout this year, and out of their 22 total discs that have been approved since about 2020. So looks like they're putting down quite a few discs and ramping those up at XCOM there. Next up, we have Tefat. They had the M1.0 approved, and I found a little bit more out about Tefat, kind of looking around if I'm saying that right. Tefat. I'm not sure. On the 22nd of April, 2024, they had the M1.0 approved. It's a beaded putter with kind of like an indent in the top, if you will, on the top of the flight plate. Kind of looks like, like a Millennium kind of Rhino or whatever. It's got that like dent in. That kind of putter style seems to be kind of coming up more, and we'll see more approved here in a little bit that kind of have that flight plate indent thing, thumb groove, whatever you want to call it, at the top. It's their 3rd disc ever approved by Tefat, and it's the 2nd for this year. The first this year being the M3.1 that was approved on the 22nd of February 2024. It's a Swedish manufacturer, as it turns out of Gotland, Sweden. And its website, if you want to check it out, it looks like it's still kind of in development, but maybe you can get on their waiting list or subscribe email list, although I couldn't get the button to work this morning. Maybe you'll have more luck, is tefatsport.se. So that's tefatsport.se if you want to check it out. Up next, Supersonic Discs, great name, which I think is a Danish design manufacturer, had 2 discs approved, and that was on the 10th of May 2024. The first one being the Loop, which is a beadless putter, and they say they're actually made in Portugal, which I find fascinating from this Danish designer here. And then the Pond Skater, which looks to be a fairway driver, probably. It's the 3rd disc ever approved from this manufacturer, and the first disc was actually approved on November 20th, 2023. The website is just a login page at the moment, so I won't even bother giving it out because it doesn't really go anywhere right now, but maybe that thing will get set up and we'll get some flight numbers and we'll actually be able to get maybe our hands on these Supersonic discs. If you've gotten a hold of one, let me know down in the comments below what you think of them. It's a new company, and I'd like to know if you have any information on any of these discs that they've had approved so far. Up next, Stokely Discs. I love the Stokely brand here. He's had the Finch and the Owl recently approved on the 29th of April, 2024. The Finch is a beaded putter, and the Owl is possibly a mid-range, is what it looks like. And it's the 4th disc approved this year for this new brand. And the first 2 appeared in February this year. So it looks like they're trying to get them out there and get them approved and get this lineup and this brand moving. So awesome. Can't wait to see more discs and eventually maybe get our hands on some and get some flight tests out of them. So they look pretty interesting, and I like Mr. Scott Stokely. So I definitely want to support him and get my hands on some of these discs. If you have any, let me know in the comments down below as well. RIPR had 2 discs approved, and these might sound familiar because the last time we spoke, we kind of talked about them. The first one that was approved on the 15th of April was the Leatherback, and the second one on the 15th of April 2024 was the Grey Wolf. And the Leatherback was also labeled retest, which gives us kind of a hint of what might have happened. So when we went on their website last time to look up the disc that was approved, we noticed they had kind of like a packaged deal, and that the Leatherback and the Grey Wolf were kind of thrown into that as well. But they said PDGA approved on those discs that you could buy, but we didn't see the PDGA approval. This is probably why. They were just waiting on that approval to go through, and it looks like maybe they had to resend it in to kind of get those approvals done and pushed forward, right? So the leatherback now is PDGA approved, and it's a putt and approach disc with flight ratings of 2, 3, 0, and 1. And our Grey Wolf is a high-speed driver, and it looks to have a gigantic rim, but maybe that's just how the picture's making it look. I don't know. And its flight ratings of 12, 5, -1, and 3. It is the third disc approved in total for RIPR, and it looks like they're kind of marketing this to the beginner. So these look pretty interesting. If you get your hands on them, let us know. ProtoFlyte is up next with their CNCI, which is interesting. So this is the 4th distance driver offering. And from their website, they actually do have a description of the CNCI. And we found out a little bit more information via the website on their first couple of discs that were approved, the CNC, the CNC minus, and the CNC plus variants. So on the website, they say that the CNCI is newly developed, and it features an exclusive inverted rim that offers a significant boost in comfort and grip with a 10-degree incline. This unique rim provides more grip and a smaller hand feel while maintaining similar flight characteristics. As the only manufacturer offering this remarkable upgrade, they tout, we are proud to provide our customers with superior performance and comfort, according to them. So we'll have to see. The other 3 that we just talked about being the CNC normal, CNC minus, and the CNC plus. They are basically alterations of the disc to give you either more stable or understable. On their website, they say, we alter this machining by the leading edge of the disc, either higher or lower to change stability. Think of the minus like a beat-in disc that you've had in your bag for a while, and think of the plus as a beefier version, more catered to headwind shots and higher arm speeds. The geometry of the rest of the disc does not change, giving each variant the same hand feel. That's pretty interesting, and I really want to get my hands on these. I might go ahead and just order some myself so I can test these out and see if that kind of holds true, because that's a very interesting concept that I'd definitely like to put to the test. Up next, Prodigy Disc had the M5, the new one, approved on the 22nd of April, 2024. The new M5 mold actually has all the stamps on it for the National Hockey League stamps, the different teams that are on there. So that's kind of cool. You can check that out if you'd like on the PDGA website. They have like a couple different examples of those stamps. It's the 4th disc that they've had approved so far this year, and it's the 2nd in what may be a new series of molds for some of their older discs. I've been kind of noticing, I don't know if you have the new pattern that's kind of going out for Prodigy, where they're taking an old model and kind of revamping it, retooling it, if you will, into the newer molds. So the previous mold flight ratings were 5, 5, -3, 1. This new one has a flight rating of 5, 5, -2, and 0.5. So it looks to be a little bit more stable and maybe a little bit less fade. So if anybody has the old one and gets a hold of the new one, let me know how they compare to each other. So that's kind of just what I would think just from the statistics here on the flight ratings, but you never really can tell until you get your hands on them. You really chuck them to see, right? So that's interesting. Let us know if you check it out. Northstar Discs, which is a fairly new manufacturer, I believe, had the Paladin US recently approved on the 22nd of April, or 10th of May, I'm sorry, 2024. The US is for understable. It's a fairway driver, and they have the regular Paladin and the Paladin OS as their currently approved other offerings. But the Paladin has a rating of 8, 5, -1, and 3, and the Paladin OS has a rating of 4, 8, 4, 0, and 3. So I'm assuming that this understable model will kind of be in between, or maybe even more exaggerated to the understable side that the Paladin offering has of 8, 5, -1, and 3. So maybe we'll see, maybe a change like an 8.5 or an 8.4, -3 and 3 or something. But we'll have to see that, because this is their first approved disc of this year, bringing their total approved disc count to 12 since 2022. So newer manufacturer, but not brand new. But this is their first approved disc of this year. Meridian Discs had the Current and the Ravine approved on the 18th of April, 2024. The Current looks to be a driver, and the Ravine looks to be another driver, probably a fairway, and it is the 4th approved disc this year for Meridian Discs. Up next, Lone Star Discs had a couple of discs here approved, and they had the Yellow Rose approved on the 29th of April, 2024, and it is a beadless putter. The Lone Star Discs Houston was also approved on the 10th of May, 2024. It looks to be a mid-range with flight numbers of 5, 5, 0, and 2. The Tex is the last one here that was approved on the 10th of May, 2024, and it's a driver, which makes it the 3rd disc that was approved this year for Lone Star Discs. Up next is Lightspeed Disc Golf with their Lumen approved, and it's their first disc that has been approved ever, and it's the only one that I can find for Lightspeed Discs, period. So it's probably their first and only approved disc. It was made in the USA, which is cool, I guess. And it's a mid-range by the flight numbers here, 8, 4, 0, and 2.5. They also have quite a few different glow models on this one, so be interesting to check these out and see how good the glow is on them. The pictures make them look pretty cool, so be interested to check this one out as well. And up next, we have Kastaplast with the iDog. It seems to be a driver, and it's their 3rd disc approved this year for Kastaplast. Innova Discs finally had a disc approved here this year called the Scorpion. Wait, they already have a Scorpion. You're right. This is a new Scorpion. It looks like it's almost like it looks like a beaded driver almost. I don't know. It's kind of interesting looking. And kind of reviews of the old Scorpion online will lead you to that conclusion as well. That the Scorpion was an interesting disc, and maybe not for everybody, but for some people. It seemed to be a pretty kind of meat hookish disc for some people, at least when they got it brand new. I don't know about after it was beat in, but the first original Scorpion was approved back in the early 90s. So it's been a minute since they've released this mold, and now they're releasing a new version of it. And its flight numbers back then were 5, 5, -1, and 2. So we'll see if they maintain the flight numbers here for this Innova approved disc. And it's the first Innova disc approved by the PDGA for this year. So maybe they'll have some more down the line, because I know Innova, super big, popular brand, been around forever. So it's interesting to see when they come out with a new one. And it looks like they're kind of falling in the line of like Prodigy and some of these other discs. Manufacturing companies, that they're kind of retooling some of their oldies but goodies, or oldies but uniquies. I don't know. We'll see. So up next, we have Infinite Discs, and they had the Glyph approved on the 15th of April, 2024. It also has kind of that indent thing that I was talking about on one of the previous discs. On this particular disc, it's a putter as well, so it kind of has that groove or thumb groove. If you look up the Millennium Tank, it kind of has that kind of design to the top of it. It's the 2nd disc approved for this year for Infinite, and it's an interesting one. Be interesting to also check this one out and see if the performance is similar to discs that are designed very similarly. Up next, Independent Discs Sweden AB had 2 variants approved, both on the 6th of May. The first variant is the Sense, which is flight ratings of 3, 3, 0, and 1. So we can tell that's the putter, just like the other Sense was, just retooled, or another variant of it, I guess I should say. They don't really say what the variant is, but it's a variant and it was approved, so that's all we know. The Soul was the other variant that was approved with flight numbers of 8, 6, -2, and 1, and it's the 3rd disc that was approved this year for Independent Discs. The previous Sense was approved on the 9th of January, 2023, and the previous Soul was approved on March 25th, 2024. So it looks like they're getting these variants out there and getting them approved pretty rapidly. after they've been made, in the case of at least the sole, and maybe that's going to be kind of the pattern going forward. We'll see. If you want to check out more information from them, go to Instagram.com/independent_discs, or you can visit their website at independentdiscs.com. Up next, we had Hooligan Discs with some approvals here. The Thread, which is a retooled version of the Thread, was approved on the 29th of April, 2024. The last one was approved on July 18th, 2022. It's a driver, and the previous flight numbers were 9, 5, -1, and 1. So we'll see if they maintain those flight statistics, right? They also had the Dime approved on the 29th of April, 2024. It's a beaded putter, and that makes it the third disc approved this year for Hooligan Discs, with the numbers of 2, 4, 0, and 1. Up next, Gateway Disc Sports had the Aura approved on the 10th of May, 2024. This is a driver disc, and it looks to be the first disc approved this year as well for Gateway Disc Sports. Flight ratings of 12, 6, -1.5, and 2. It was originally crafted to be the less stable sibling to the Realm and Spell. This is off of their website. We see a very workable disc with an easy turnover ability and long full flights for all arm speeds. So interesting. If you get your hands on it, let us know what you think. Discraft, another big name, an oldie in the scheme of things here, had the Swarm recently approved on the 22nd of April, 2024. It is a mid-range, and it's the fourth approved disc for Discraft this year. Wasn't able to find out a lot about the Swarm, but I did watch a video of Anthony Barela throwing them, and it looks to be, at least for him, we know he has a massive arm and high arm speed, but they look to be pretty overstable even for him. At high speeds and it is a high speed mid-range for a mid-range. It keeps up pretty well. It was taking the abuse he was dishing out on it, both forehand and regular backhand for Anthony Barela. So interesting to see. Hopefully we'll get some actual flight numbers here for it soon, because it was just approved. Compound Discs had the Tunnel Shot on the 8th of April, 2024 approved. I like the cool kind of orange mold thing that they have going on here. It's got these interesting grid lines that kind of look like triangles coming together, and it makes this geometric pattern. It's a putter. It's the second ever approved disc. The first one was approved on March 18th with the Marb, it looks like. I don't know if I wrote that one down correctly, but I watched someone throw them, and the tunnel seems to be pretty understable, unless it was just released very poorly, but it looks like it's pretty understable in comparison, at least to their other disc. The flight numbers of 2, 4, -1, and 1. Up next, Clash Discs had 3 different discs approved, and they are all tone variants of previous discs. The first one approved on the 5th of April, 2024 was the Popcorn tone variant, which is their putter. They had the Soda tone variant approved on the 5th of April, 2024 as well, which is a fairway driver. And the Lotus tone variant approved on the 6th of May, 2024. That is a fairway driver, and it would bring it to be the 8th disc approved by the PDGA this year for them, with the 5th tone variant overall so far. I could say the tone plastics, they look super cool. Got my hands on a couple of them. They throw pretty interesting. And they say that the tone variant is designed to kind of hold up better to high torque because of the stiffer plastic on the bottom and the grippier plastic on the top. Is it the case as compared to their other discs? I don't know if it really makes that much of a difference, but as I throw them longer, I guess we will see. If you have gotten your hands on any tone variants and you've noticed a significant difference between the molds, let us know in the comments down below. Bernoulli, one of my favorite names as from a disc golf manufacturer, just had the Johnson approved, and this was labeled as a retest as well, so it looks like this one was possibly supposed to come out and get approved a little bit earlier, but hey, it's approved now, and that happened on the 18th of April, 2024. It's another driver, and it's the 3rd disc so far and ever, really, but at least the 3rd for this year. And the flight ratings are 9, 6, -3, and 1. A little bit more information on Bernoulli, since I know we had a little bit of difficulty finding out some information from last time. We got some more. So from the website, Bernoulli Disc Golf combines innovation with sustainability, producing outstanding discs while caring for the planet. As a pioneering disc golf brand, they are dedicated to crafting high-quality discs exclusively from eco-friendly materials. That's great. Our lineup includes discs made from recycled plastics and innovative bio-based composites that incorporate wood elements. Super interesting. Choose Bernoulli Disc Golf for performance-driven, environmentally conscious discs designed for players who are passionate about both the sport and the environment. I think that's super cool. And the wood elements, that's really cool. I just like the naming and the theme of it, where they're doing kind of the principles of flight and kind of all that scientific stuff. It's super cool. It appeals to my inner nerd, if you will. So the last but certainly not least disc that was, or that's on my list, I guess, that was approved by the PDGA was from Third Coast Discs. It's the Swell, and it was approved on the 18th of April, 2024. Don't have any flight numbers yet, but you can go to their website at 3cdiscs.com. It's their second ever approved disc, and the only other approved disc that they have in their lineup currently is the Shorebreak, which was approved on the 8th of August 2022. So it's been a minute since they've had a disc that's been approved. So looks like they're fairly new to the scheme of things with just the 2 discs and a couple of years apart. So maybe we'll see more Third Coast Discs as the year progresses and they get some more offerings to their lineup getting approved. All right, and that marks the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching today. Feel free to check out all of our other offerings that have linkies and stuff around on all of our different playlists, the regular podcast show that we try to do every other Monday to bring you more information and news about the great sport of disc golf, not just the equipment, even though that's, I would argue, probably the cool stuff, right? And the stuff that we get excited about. If you have any comments or questions, leave that in the comments down below or email us at theshow@discgolfshow.com. As always, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button if you're enjoying the content and you want more stuff like this. I will talk to you all next time. Bye-bye.